Dribbles and shoots it 70% of the time. And so when you are checking LeBron, I want you to be ready for a shot after the third dribble. See, that's analytics. So now as I'm guarding him, all in my mind, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, and I'm waiting for the shot. Am I a great defender? Or did somebody spend hours and hours in tape and had the information to be able to categorize through percentages what a player can do or does do just to throw him off his rhythm? Now, this is the analytics of sports, right? Now let's use the analytics of race. I got all these neat categories of people telling me everywhere what they are. These are the whites, these are the blacks, these are the Hispanics, these are the... Now, because I got all this information, these people informing on themselves, I can take these categories and create a experience for this one that this one not gonna have. Why? Because I can use these numbers. All right, I'm gonna put a liquor store every 200 feet in this. Look, 200 feet. That's nothing. But look, every 200 feet in this neighborhood, and in this one, you're gonna have to go at least a half a mile in between liquor stores. Well, my analytics say that the closer proximity of the liquor store to the people, the percentage of alcoholics rise. So if I want to guarantee that this neighborhood has a certain amount of alcoholics, then it's going to work by per liquor store. See, that's analytics. So now I can guarantee now within your community that you're going to have this many percent of people that's going to be alcoholic. So when you start to think about those type of numbers being used against you, you got to start looking at people you think ghetto, hood, this, that, and the other. You got to look at them as one of the numbers of analytics. The fact that because of the environment that was created for them, the percentage of them being who they were is right in line with what the numbers say. And that's heavy.
To say that it's not an accident. Not an accident at all.
Not an accident. It is by plan. It is by design. That's why they call it community planning. If you want brilliant people to come out the community, there's ways in which to do that. If you want proud, happy people to be, then there's ways in which to do that. Frederick Douglass said in a speech, our collective, or our, what did he say? The speech was our comprehensive nationality. That's what it was. And all he talked about was how he cautioned that we don't want no special designation in law. To be equal is to share the same identity, to share the same label. Equality cannot be had through separate, because separate is not equal. Didn't we try that before? Did we have
separate but equal?
Did we try? Did it work?
But equal.
Did it work?
No.
Because equality can't be had through separate, and so we didn't even learn our lesson from that. And guess what? A movement like that is not scary to people who understand that. Guess what? As long as you get in a separate, as long as you're in a separate category, I'm winning. Anything that you're gonna fight for, if this is for a separate category than me, I'm winning. You're not scary. Black Lives Matter does not scare me. If you hitting White Lives Matter and you going to rallies trying to get people to become white, you are scaring the system. You're making it hard for them to find you. To create a different America for you. We just didn't know how we were getting fooled. See, this explains the how. Right. Once you really can detail the how, anybody can be an expert or brilliant in the solutions. Anybody. A kid, I want to hear from the youth, because a kid will be able to figure out the solutions then when you actually can articulate the how.
So, what do you say to, and I know you kind of got into it in one of your YouTubes, but what do you say to these master teachers, the cats who are still pushing the black power, basically we're superior, you're inferior, what do you What do you got to say to
If you are taking
those
a
cats?
position as a master teacher that your people are superior, or that black people is the original man, right? Then how can you also in the same breath say the whites are some different species or a different race? That is the equivalent of disowning your kid. So the first thing I'll say to the master teachers is don't disown your kid. Explain to them what whiteness is. Explain to them who the bartender is in whiteness, right? Who pouring the shot that they getting drunk off of, because they can't have whiteness without you calling yourself black. It doesn't even compute. It won't make sense to them without the person to play off of. You literally, by accepting black, have doomed the world to whiteness, because they took what they practiced on you at home and they took that thing across the globe. And so, number one, if our master teachers are trying to help us, if they trying to do anything progressive, if they hate white supremacy so much, there's a way to combat it. But first you got to understand that you ain't black people. First you got to understand that racism is teaching your kids that. And you'll have the next generation, and even the youth right now, if that was something that went viral, the kids this generation will stop that damn race shit. That's one, because people act like this is going to take time. Look, the master teachers got to understand this, that they have to get off the plantation if they want to start Harriet Tubman and people through the passage. You got to get off yourself. And if you got a social security number and you calling yourself black, you are a mere slave. Trying to teach them, trying to save the masses. I'm talking about preachers and everything else. Anybody that call themselves a leader, politicians, any of them. If they don't really understand the how, then they can't help you. And if they got a social and call themselves black, they are a slave. And if you don't want to be one, I don't know if they can help you with that, because they're not telling you how to not be one. They're trying to give you power through slave. They're trying to give you slave power.
So at its face value, let me play devil's advocate, because I know we've had some discussions. I've had some people over here that say, okay, I'm gonna go down. Like, what is this really going to change? I'm going down to the Social Security office. I'm going to change my race. What's going to happen? Am I going to be able to get a job now? Am I going to be able to get a loan now? I mean, truly, what does this change?
All right. Well, number one, let's understand what black has meant for you in the past or present day. Black has meant that you have signed off to be in the bottom. Meaning, even if you try hard and mean well, the analytics say that you will be representing the bottom. Even what you think is a good life ain't nothing compared to what a white good life is. You hear me? Even if you live a good black life, you know what I'm saying, ain't in comparison to a good white life, right? And so you got a ceiling. Okay, let's just say black means dead end job. Now, when you want to experience America, this country that you done helped build but never been a citizen of, I say number one, you get your citizenship. So now you some people want a finance, all that. Well, first let's just start with, you're telling the world now that I'm not a subhuman. You've joined humanity. You've also become a citizen of this country. And so all the master teachers that talk about separation, how about just trying to be a citizen here first? Okay. How about let's see how that feel to be treated like a citizen, because it does happen. It will happen. And then when you talk about credit scores, I've had people that say their credit scores go up, the limit gets increased. Yeah, because the system sees you as white now. No different than any of the white people. And so all you seeing, if your credit scores are going up or the credit amount starts to get increased, is because now you're starting to see that a white person with your same exact profile, right, was having a better credit score, and they were loaning them more money with the same profile though. So that's one, what it's teaching you there. Two, if you want the cops to stop beating you the fuck up, excuse my French, but can I say, then maybe when you change that status and they pull you over and that driver's license is associated to your social security number, then now when you pull up as white, as a citizen, and then now they got to start treating you like a citizen. I remember one time getting pulled over, these cops, they think they got to be my age, and they're literally talking to me like I'm some 7-year-old boy. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, can't you just see that I might even be your elder? Why? This is a routine bullshit, but you're not even finding why are you already treating me like I'm an aggressor? I'm not. Why is the respect so low? Why can't you see my humanity, cop? Because you wasn't a citizen and you say that you were subhuman. And now when I'm dealing with a subhuman, then I'm gonna treat you just like a subhuman. And now when they pull me over, it's hi, sir, smiley face, good.
Wow. And that's powerful, man. I mean, and I think all of those are great points within itself, man. But I just think when you look at it holistically, man, if this whole thing that you're doing turns into something global, then it kind of goes back to the whole thing about eliminating the categories. You know what I'm saying? Because if everybody is quote unquote white on paper, then there's nothing to divide. There's no group to divide and control and manipulate and give privilege to one group. And
because it's voluntary, and because we are not going to try to petition the government, we are not going to go to the people, the same law system that created the division, the same law system that used anti-miscegenation laws to say that it is against the law to marry these people, right? The same law system that created segregation laws that told us that we had to live in certain places. The same law that used naturalization laws to make it so that even be born here, we're not going to be citizens, right? Mm-hmm. We are not going to go to the same law and ask them to clean up this category shit, because it has been creating the privilege for all this time. It is the law that has created this situation in this country. Why would we go to them